Hi there, this is Solitary Ronin from Solitary Ronin Films, and welcome to another box set battle. Today's box set battle is an epic. I've done lots of stupid videos on my channel, but this one might take the cake. I'm going to rank the Powerhouse Indicator box sets from 18 to number 1. Number 19, the Columbia Noir Volume 3, is coming out in May. But I thought I would do the ranking of all 18 so far. I love Indicator. I now have a complete Indicator collection. I haven't watched all of them. I've still got a few in the backlog, but I have watched all the box sets. Indicator are wonderful. I don't get paid by them, honest. I do have rather a lot of random reviews on my channel of Indicator releases because they're just so good. The box sets, for me, there's a bottom 5 and a top 6, and then the rest are kind of in the middle. I mean, obviously this is subjective. Even the bottom 5 are still wonderful in certain aspects, but they perhaps just don't have films that I would check out that often. But again, the extras, the commentaries, the artwork. Also, if you're not into box sets, Indicator do release standard editions. So as I go through them, there's some box sets for me, there's maybe only one really standout film. So you could just wait for the standard edition of that Blu-ray rather than get the box set. Obviously some of these are now out of print. But again, they'll release the individual films as standard. So let's just make a start. Again, this is just subjective, it's just my opinion. My opinion is not fact. You know, if I have one ranked in the bottom 5 that's in your top 3, that's absolutely fine. We're all different. Again, the bottom 5 could change in order, the top 6 could change in order, the middle 7 could change in order. But like I said, for me, there's those kind of 3 tiers to their box sets, you know, for me anyway. So let's just make a start. So at number 18 is the William Castle Volume 2 set. This contains, there's the artwork without the belly band. This contains Zots, 13 Frightened Girls, The Old Dark House, and Straitjacket. This is, Straitjacket is a region B, and the other 3 films are multi-region. This is a set that for me only contains one film that I would kind of recommend wholeheartedly, and that's Straitjacket, which I did a random review with Joan Crawford. It's a wonderfully demented little film. The other ones are films that I probably wouldn't revisit that often. Again, for me, the bottom 5 are ones that you should really pick up in a sale. Usually the Indicator box sets are between £40 and £45, and in the sale, Indicator usually have a yearly sale, the box sets are like £28 to £30, so you are getting a chunk off. Again, the extras are good. There's introductions and commentaries, but the films themselves, 3 out of the 4, I wouldn't really revisit very often. So that's number 18, William Castle Volume 2. Number 17 is a fairly recent one that I was excited to get. I think quite a lot of people were. And that's the Fu Manchu Cycle. I mean, look at that artwork. The artwork is absolutely beautiful. Again, you get books. The films are in the individual cases for this one. 5 films: The Face of Fu Manchu, The Brides of Fu Manchu, The Vengeance of Fu Manchu, The Blood of Fu Manchu, and The Castle of Fu Manchu. The last 2 directed by Jez Franco. These are all Region B. After the first film, they kind of go downhill fairly quickly. So this is an example of a set where you could be cheeky and say the extras are actually better than the films. The first 3 films are fun enough, but the last 2 are pretty bad. I mean, they use footage from other films in the last one. But again, the extras are really good. There's commentaries. Stephen Jones, Kim Newman, Sir Christopher Frayling, Jonathan Rigby, Stephen Thrower are all on this set. So as far as a historical, kind of the historical look at these films, a look at the author that wrote the books, Fu Manchu through the history of cinema, that's all very interesting. But obviously, if you're not a collector, you want to actually get the films, and the fact of the matter is the films aren't that great, if we're being entirely honest. But it's a beautiful set, and again, the extras are really interesting. You know, I love Kim Newman and Jonathan Rigby, and that artwork is beautiful, and again, the booklet's wonderful as well. So number 16 is Hammer Volume 5, Death and Deceit. I mean, one of the great things about the Indicator Hammer sets, it really gives you the idea, or shows you that Hammer wasn't just about horror. You know, if you say Hammer films to somebody, it's generally, oh, they just made horror films. But these 5 volumes, they're up to 5 volumes of Hammer films, show they did psychological thrillers, they did swashbucklers, they did war films, they did lots of stuff. So this is volume 5, again, wonderful artwork on the cover. This has Visa to Canton, The Pirates of Blood River, The Scarlet Blade, and The Brigand of Kandahar. So these are swashbuckling, these are all Region B. These are fun little films, they're kind of Sunday matinee films, really. There's Christopher Lee in the front, Pirates of Blood River. Again, extras are really good. Jonathan Rigby, for example, talks about Jimmy Sangster, who wrote a lot of Hammer films. Lovely burgundy box. But again, the films, there's no real standout. Again, they're fun kind of boys' own adventures for a Sunday afternoon, but not a set that you're going to revisit, at least from my perspective, that often. So number 15 might be a controversial one, but again, this is just my opinion, and my opinion doesn't matter. It's the John Ford set at Columbia. Now this one has, there's the cover artwork, and again, this is all Region B. So this has The Whole Town's Talking from 1935. Then it cuts all the way to 1955 with The Long Grey Line. 1958, Gideon's Day, and 1958, The Last Hurrah with Spencer Tracy. Now for me, The Whole Town's Talking is the gem in this set with Edward G. Robinson. He has a dual role, he plays a reporter and he also plays a gangster, and it's about mistaken identity and hilarity and excitement ensue. That's an absolute gem. Gideon's Day, which is set in Britain, and it follows Jack Hawkins, police officer, around for the day and all the scrapes and different crimes that he comes across, is really good as well. The Long Grey Line and The Last Hurrah for me are way over long. They're both over 2 hours long, and they're kind of John Ford at his most sentimental. The extras on it aren't that great, I have to say. Leonard Maitland introduces each film. There are commentaries, but again, the extras in this set aren't the best, I would say. Excuse me. But The Whole Town's Talking is an absolute gem. Obviously, if you're a huge John Ford fan, this is an essential pickup. But for me, there's one gem on it and one really fun, interesting film, just the way it's shot, Gideon's Day. But two films that I probably won't be revisiting for a while. But again, if that's your favourite Indicator set, that's fantastic. So number 14, and the last of the ones that I feel are kind of the bottom tier, but still glad I have them. It's the Bloody Terror set, which has another 5 films. The films of Norman J. Warren, which has some startling artwork in the front cover. Again, this one, you get Satan's Slave from 1976, Prey from 1977, that's P-R-E-Y, not P-R-A-Y, Terror, Inseminoid, and Bloody New Year. And this set is multi-region. Again, for me, the films are fun. Inseminoid and Bloody New Year aren't very good, but Inseminoid is kind of some campy fun. But the films are good fun. The extras are excellent. There's commentaries by Norman J. Warren, who does come across as being a thoroughly nice man. And you do get a real history of low budget British horror, you know, that's not Hammer, that's not Amicus. So for me, this elevates above the other ones because of the extras. You know, if you're interested in that kind of history, it's good. The films are fun, but again, I wouldn't say any of them are great films. So for me, that's number 14, and that's the last of the bottom tier. Again, if you have them ranked higher, that's wonderful. I would like to see your comments if you rank the Indicator box sets. So we're now going to the middle of the pack, essentially. And again, these could change if I did this list a year from now. So where are we at? Number 13 is Hammer Volume 3. This is Blood and Terror. And it's Christopher Lee on the cover in yellowface, not as Fu Manchu. So this has the camp on Blood Island. It has Yesterday's Enemy, which are two kind of war films, beautiful colours. The Stranglers of Bombay and The Terror of the Tongs. Multi-region. This says multi-region. Again, there's an absolute gem in this set, and that's Yesterday's Enemy, which is just an absolutely fantastic World War II film about war crimes and about brutality, and how far do you push morals in a wartime setting. Obviously each of them have their own booklet. But Yesterday's Enemy, you know, absolutely blew me away. I'd never really heard of it. It's absolutely magnificent. Camp on Blood Island is good fun. The Stranglers of Bombay is kind of daft fun. The Terror of the Tongs isn't very good at all. But again, extras really good. The artwork's beautiful. It's a fun set, but it's number 13 on the list. Number 12, it's Hammer Volume 1. So this has Maniac, again wonderful cover artwork. Maniac, The Gorgon, The Curse of the Mummy's Tomb and Fanatic, and this is multi-region. My favourite is probably The Gorgon. Again, each of the cases has a separate booklet. Again, the extras are really good. Introductions, commentaries. Kat Ellinger's on this one. There's profiles of Hammer women, the female actors in it. So the extras are good, the films are fun. Perhaps not a standout film in the set, for me anyway, but obviously The Gorgon is a lot of fun. But they're all a lot of fun. So that is number 12. So number 11, which might be a little bit low in some people's lists, but again, this is just my opinion. My opinion does not matter. It's the Harryhausen Volume 1. I know, I can hear the silence. Look at that cover. Beautiful cover. This has It Came From Beneath the Sea, 20 Million Miles to Earth, and The Three Worlds of Gulliver. And this set is multi-region. And you also get a nice little booklet with this one as well. Again, Harryhausen is very special to a lot of people of a certain age. Indicator have certainly done his films justice. I think we're all hoping for a volume 3 at some point. These are fairly early Indicator box sets, and the spine numbers 41 to 43. They're now above 300. Again, commentaries, interviews, Joe Dante, Dennis Muren, Phil Tippett. There's commentaries, featurettes on Harryhausen, just an absolute wealth of information. But again, the reason it's only number 11 is because they're not the best Harryhausen films. They're all fun. Yeah, this is volume 1, 1955 to 1960. They're all fun little films, and if you love Harryhausen, it's a no-brainer. So at number 10, we're into the top 10, it's Hammer Volume 4. This is Faces of Fear. And there's a wonderful artwork in the front, nice yellow box. So this has The Revenge of Frankenstein, which is a lot of fun. The Two Faces of Dr. Jekyll, which is a lot of fun. Scream of Fear, which is really good. Two Faces of Dr. Jekyll and Scream of Fear both feature Christopher Lee. And The Damned with Joseph Losey, which is a really interesting, strange film. And for me, the standout of the set. But all the films are really good for different reasons. This one is multi-region as well. Yeah, so we've got The Revenge of Frankenstein from 1958, The Two Faces of Dr. Jekyll from 1960, Taste of Fear from 1961, and The Damned from 1962. I'm not going to go into the plot of The Damned, but it's one of those films that starts as one thing and then ends up as another, and it's absolutely wonderful. It's a little gem. You get 2 cuts of The Damned, commentaries, documentaries. There's commentaries featuring Josephine Botting, Sam Dagan, Kat Ellinger, Stephen Jones, Kevin Lyons, Kim Newman, Jonathan Rigby. There's a BFT interview with Jimmy Sangster. There's a couple of interviews with Jimmy Sangster. Just an absolute gem of a box. That is number 10. So let us go to number 9. Number 9 is the most recent box set. It's Columbia Noir number 2 in the nice orange box. Volume 3, which is coming out, is a nice red box. There's Rita Hayworth and Glenn Ford. Nope, it's not Gilda. And these ones have 6 films each. So, yes, indicator boxes are expensive, at like 40 something quid each if you don't get them on a sale, but it's 6 films on Blu-ray. Again, you get a nice book. They're in those thin cases. This is spine numbers over 300 now. Again, as time passes, this might go higher, but just because it's relatively new, they're just fresh. Framed is a fun film with Glenn Ford. 7-Eleven Ocean Drive is a nice wee film. The Mob's a nice wee film. Affair in Trinidad is the one with Glenn Ford and Rita Hayworth. Tight Spot is an odd little film, but the gem on this one is Murder by Contract. A really economic, strange, almost Brissonian film about a hitman. Certainly one of those classic man in a room films. It's a great wee film, strange, interesting score. Kind of reminds you a little bit of the Zither in The Third Man. This set's region B, not multi-region. Again, bunch of fun films. One standout, Murder by Contract, and just because it's kind of new, and I haven't even got into the commentaries, which there's a bunch of, but the extras aren't great. Again, there's like Three Stooges on Blu-ray, so if you're a Three Stooges fan, then Columbia Noir box sets are the place to go. And random documentaries by the same filmmakers about American life in the 50s, which are a little bit odd. There's an introduction by Martin Scorsese to Murder by Contract. There's a Guardian interview. There's two interviews with Ernest Borgnine, one from 2001 and one from 2009. And The Mob features a very young Charles Bronson, who has almost his own indicator line. So that's Columbia Noir number 2. That's in 9th place. So number 8, again, might be low for some people, and I understand why. It's the Samuel Fuller at Columbia set. This is multi-region, and this has a bunch of films. This has It Happens in Hollywood, Adventure in Sahara, Power of the Press, Shockproof, Scandal Sheet, The Crimson Kimono, and Underworld USA. Again, they've all got individual booklets inside the cases. The reason this is only in 8th is because only 2 of the 6 films were actually written and directed by Sam Fuller. The other ones were just written or based on a story by Sam Fuller, and they're all fun. Shockproof, Scandal Sheet, they're all good fun. The Crimson Kimono, which again I've done a random review on, is an absolute stunner. Underworld USA is just about an absolute stunner, but Crimson Kimono is spectacularly good. I would urge you to get that, but again, it might come out in a standard edition. I'm not sure. It might have a region A release as well, I'm not actually sure. But that's, again, Scorsese has a introduction of Underworld USA from 2009. There's a documentary about Sam Fuller featuring Wim Wenders and Scorsese. Really good set, but just because only 2 of the films are actually written and directed by Sam Fuller, that's why it's only in 8th place, but it's still a wonderful set. Again, I did a box set battle between this one and the Eureka Sam Fuller set. You'll have to check out that video to see who won that battle. And then we get to number 7, so this is kind of the last of the middle tier, which again are still wonderful, still well worth picking up. But again, perhaps you could get these in a sale, the ones that are still in print. But number 7, just on the cusp of the top tier, it's the Marlene Dietrich and Joseph von Sternberg set. So this is region B. This is the same films that are in the Criterion Blu-ray box set, but by all accounts, I think, I could be wrong, but I think the prints are slightly better in the Indicator box, but again, I'm not exactly sure of that. I don't have the Criterion. Somebody who has the Criterion and the Indicator can let me know in the comments. This has 6 films, so it's the thin cases. It does have a really nice booklet though. This has Morocco, Dishonored, Shanghai Express, Blonde Venus, Scarlet Empress and Devil is a Woman. This has a lot of really good extras, including the Twilight of an Angel documentary from 2012, which actually made me cry because it's quite sad. Again, this maybe only has 2 really good films, Dishonored and The Devil is a Woman, but the rest are fun. Again, I think I've mentioned this box set before on the channel, and I felt that the leading men opposite Dietrich just cannot compete with Marlene. Personally, I don't think she was a great actor, but as a star, she is pure star power. It looks in these films, these are all made in the early 30s, 1930s, 1935. She does look like an extraterrestrial who's been dropped into these films, and the people around her are still kind of acting in that stiff theatre kind of way, and she's just like, here I am, dominating every scene that I'm in. There's an early Cary Grant performance before he was kind of Cary Grant. The films are fascinating. Von Sternberg's production design and attention to costumes are amazing. The production design in The Scarlet Empress, for example, is absolutely wondrous. So it is a wonderful set. Just for me, the films aren't amazing, with perhaps the exception of Dishonored and The Devil is a Woman. But a fascinating set, and again, the extras are wonderful. But just make sure you have some tissues if you're going to watch that 2012 documentary about Dietrich's last 10 years of her life, because it's quite sad. So we're going to go into the top 6, the top tier, if you will. Again, let me know what your 6 favourite are, or your 18, or how many you've actually watched. So we're going to go in position 6 with The Final Hammer, I think. Hammer Volume 2, Criminal Intent. Which again, if you are just used to Hammer being horror, these films are really quite surprising. Interesting cover art, not the best cover art, but interesting. So this has The Snorkel from 1958. Never Take Sweets from a Stranger, never a truer word has been spoken, from 1960. The Full Treatment from 1960, and Cash on Demand from 1961, which has recently just got a standard edition. These are really fun, interesting films. The extras are absolutely packed. I'm not going to go into every single one. The Snorkel is a fun, strange little film. Never Take Sweets from a Stranger it's about what you think it's about, but it's handled really well. The Full Treatment is really good, bit overlong at 110 minutes, but for me the gem on this one is Cash on Demand. Like I say, I think it's just got a standard release, so I would definitely check it out. I mean, it stars Peter Cushing and Andre Morel. I don't think I've done a random review on it. It's hard to keep track, but I don't think I have. It's just absolutely wonderful. It's almost like a real-time film. It's about 81 minutes, and Peter Cushing is a bank manager, and Andre Morel is a bank robber, who pretty much tells Peter Cushing to empty his safe or his wife's going to die. it's just so good. Again, it's kind of studio bound. It's pretty much just a two-hander. But Andre Morel is wonderfully sadistic and twisted, and Peter Cushing playing a straight man and playing, just the sweating bank manager. It's just absolutely wonderful as well. It's really refreshing to see Peter Cushing play that kind of role. So, an unusual set, but I think it's actually the best Hammer set in the Indicator range. But let me know what your favourite Hammer set is. So that's Hammer Volume 2, and that's number 6. So number 5 is Columbia Noir number 1. So this one is Region B. This one is the yellow one. That's Eli Wallach, believe it or not, when he was a lot younger. So this one has Escape in the Fog, which is solid. The Undercover Man with Glenn Ford, which is really interesting because nobody at any point in the film goes undercover. Drive a Crooked Road, which is one of the standouts with Mickey Rooney, Kevin McCarthy. That one's absolutely fantastic. 5 Against the House, which is a strange film with Kerwin Matthews about a group of college students who are obviously played by actors who are like in their 30s. It's very off-putting. Who just think it would be quite good to rob a casino just to see if they could do it. It's strange but fun. The Garment Jungle, which was kind of directed by Robert Aldrich before he left. Lee J. Cobb, again Kerwin Matthews. It's an interesting kind of failure because you can kind of see it's a bit of a mess, but it's actually a lot of fun. And then the standout, which I did do a random review of, I definitely know that, of the lineup with Eli Wallach, which is just absolutely wonderful, and you should buy the set just for the lineup. It's just so good, so odd. Directed by Don Siegel. Fantastic. Again, Scorsese's got another introduction, this one to Drive a Crooked Road. Guardian interview with Mickey Rooney. There's a wonderful Guardian interview with Kim Novak, who's in 5 Against the House. I mean, Christopher Nolan even talks about the lineup, for all you Christopher Nolan fans. I was just so excited when I heard that Indicator were releasing Noir box sets, because Kino Lorber has a series of Noir box sets, which I almost pulled the trigger on. But a few of the titles are in those same box sets. But I was so excited. I mean, obviously, Volume 3 is coming out in May. They could quite easily do half a dozen volumes because obviously there's a wealth of noirs from Columbia from the 40s and 50s. Yeah, this one is absolutely wonderful. They're all good films of various quality, but again, Drive a Crooked Road with Mickey Rooney and the lineup with Eli Wallach is just spectacular highlights, and I would certainly urge you. I think this one is going out of print, if it's not actually out of print already. 6,000 copies. I think it's close to going out of print, you can check that, but beautiful, beautiful set. So where on earth are we? We're at number 4. There's actually 4 more better than Columbia Noir number 1. That kind of shows you how good Indicator box sets are. This is Ray Harryhausen Volume 2. Again, some people might think it's a little bit low at number 4. And again, a wonderful cover. Just beautiful artwork. This one is 3 films plus another separate booklet. So this is Mysterious Island, which is a lot of fun. Then Jason and the Argonauts, which again, if you're of a certain age, Jason and the Argonauts will mean a lot to you. If you're not of a certain age, you might kind of go, what's the fuss? And then First Men in the Moon, which is wonderful as well. This is multi-region. I believe this one is out of print. But again, the standard editions, if you just want to pick up the standard editions. I mean, it's good that they do that as well. So, you know, if you're not interested in the whole box set, you can just pick up the standard edition of the film you want to see. 4K restoration of Jason Argonaut's and First Men in the Moon. 2K restoration of Mysterious Island. Again, commentaries. You know, Kim Newman talks about Mysterious Island. Interviews with Harryhausen, John Landis, trailers. It's just a wonderful set. Again, if you're of a certain age, Harryhausen will mean a lot more to you than perhaps if you're a bit younger. This is Volume 2, 1961 to 1964, and that is in position 4. Now we're into the top 3. So at 3 is William Castle Volume 1. William Castle Volume 2 was all the way back at number 18, but this one is a stonking set. So this one has 4 films, again each with their individual case. This is multi-region. I believe this one might be out of print though. This has The Tingler, which is just awesome. Again, I'm a Vincent Price fan, so I'm a bit biased, but The Tingler is just so good. 13 Ghosts, which was obviously remade. It's kind of fun family film. Homicidal, which is a riff on Psycho. It's better than Psycho. And Mr. Sardonicus, which is just an absolute blast as well. The extras in this set are fantastic. The cover is amazing. Again, commentaries, Lee Gambin, who's always really good, you know, film noir expert as well. Kat Ellinger and Sam Dayan do a commentary. The William Castle story, which is absolutely fantastic. Castle was a bit of a character. Kim Newman on The Tingler. The Making of Spine Tingler. I Survived The Tingler, an interview with the actor Pamela Lincoln. So chock full of stuff. A real history lesson about William Castle, the showman, and all the gimmicks he would have in theatres as the films played. As kind of perhaps disappointing as Volume 2 is, Volume 1 of William Castle is a must buy as far as I'm concerned. It's just absolutely wonderful. And then we get to the top 2. Now, just off the top of my head, I actually would have thought that number 2 would be number 1. But the more I looked at it and thought about it, stunningly, the Sinbad set is only number 2. Now this is out of print, it's been out of print for a long time. I didn't actually get it originally because I wasn't actually into Indicator at the time it was released. I actually picked this up on eBay for £60, so about £40, about £20 more than the price, you know, when they're actually available. But this is now into the hundreds, up to like £200 to buy a copy. They have since released standard editions. This is multi-region. Look at that cover. I'll just leave that sitting there for 42 minutes. Great set. The 3 films: The Seventh Voyage of Sinbad from 1958, The Golden Voyage of Sinbad from 1973, and Sinbad and I, the Tiger from 1977. Plus you get a separate book of Ray Harryhausen. There he is there, the genius himself. Again, you can argue, well, you have to be a certain age, you have to suspend your disbelief or whatever, but growing up, these films are special, and they still are special. There's a craft and an art to what Harryhausen did. You know, and people might say, oh well, it looks fake and CGI is much better, and it's like, well, these are living things that Harryhausen created. They're just wonderful. They're pretty much the epitome of Sunday afternoon matinee films. So much pleasure to be had, and just so happy to have that box. I know first world problems, but the Sinbad set is absolutely beautiful, and bizarrely it's number 2. So if you're aware of Indicator, you must know what number 1 is. Answers in a postcard. I didn't think this would be number 1 before I saw it and before I saw the other ones, but it's the 5 Tall Tales, Bud Bedicker and Randolph Scott. Again, I've never really been that much of a Randolph Scott fan, but look at that cover. Blimey, these films are fantastic. So it's 5 Bud Bedicker, Randolph Scott films. The Tall Tea from 1957, Decision at Sundown, 1957, Buchanan Rides Alone, 1958, Ride Lonesome, 1959, Comanche Station, 1960. This is multi-region, by the way. I believe it is out of print, but you can get standard editions. Again, it has a booklet as well. These westerns they're amazing. They're not long. They're all under 80 minutes, but they don't have to be longer. I believe the French New Wave absolutely loved them, quite rightly. There's interviews, commentaries. Bud Bedicker is a bit of a character. Again, Martin Scorsese on The Tall Tea and Ride Lonesome from 2008. Taylor Hackford on Decision at Sundown and Buchanan Rides Alone. Clint Eastwood on Comanche Station. Christopher Frayling on Bud Bedicker, which is absolutely fantastic, as Christopher Frayling always is. There's even a Guardian interview with Elmer Leonard from 1997, because he wrote the short story for The Tall Tea. The films are just wonderful. It's about Randolph Scott having to make decisions, strange enough, including one at sundown. They're just so, weren't made for a lot of money, but they're just so precise, so streamlined. They're not a second longer than they need to be. I'll be honest, none of them I would give 5 stars to, but if I gave 4.5 stars, all 5 would be 4.5 star films, but I don't give halves, so they're all 4s. If you give halves, you might as well give a mark out of 10, and that's the thin end of the wedge. What next? But I think consistently, film, pound for pound, film by film, 5 Tall Tales is the best Indicator box set. Again, it might change, obviously, in the fullness of time at the appropriate juncture. Who knows? Columbia Noir Volume 3 might rocket to number 1. I wouldn't be surprised. But 5 Tall Tales is absolutely sublime. Again, if you can't get the box set on secondary markets, which is fair enough because it might actually be silly money, you can get the standard editions. Because let's be honest, if you're interested in just the films, obviously if you don't like westerns, you're not going to think that's the best Indicator box set. But these westerns are more than westerns. They're just wonderfully nuanced psychological dramas. Lee Van Cleef turns up in one of them. Come on, you can't say better than that. So thanks very much for watching. I apologise if it's got too long a video. Please let me know if you've seen all the Indicator box sets and how you would rank them, or just let me know your favourite one. Not that we're into being negative, but you can tell me your least favourite one. Again, it's all subjective. I love something in all of the sets, but I just thought it would be fun seeing. I've actually watched all of them which isn't always the case with the films I have. It would be fun to rank them. So please let me know if you enjoyed the video. You can like or even subscribe if you feel the mood. And let me know what your favourite indicator box sets are. So thanks very much for your patience and for watching. This is Solitary Ronin from Solitary Ronin Films, saying take care.